The galaxy was vast, filled with countless stars and civilizations, each with their own rules of engagement. Among these rules, one was universally accepted: hospital ships were off-limits. They were symbols of mercy, carrying the wounded, the sick, and the dying. No matter the conflict, no matter the enemy, attacking a hospital ship was considered an unforgivable crime. But on this day, the unthinkable happened. The Elysium, Earth's largest and most advanced hospital ship, was orbiting a war-torn planet on the edge of human space. Its mission was simple: provide medical aid to anyone in need, regardless of species or allegiance. Its white hull, marked with the universal symbol of medical aid, gleamed under the light of a distant sun. Inside, doctors and nurses worked tirelessly, saving lives and offering hope. But hope was shattered when the attack came. Without warning, a fleet of alien warships emerged from the void. Their sleek, black vessels bristled with weapons, and their intentions were clear. The Elysium sent out distress signals, pleading for mercy, but the alien fleet did not respond. Instead, they opened fire. The first barrage tore through the Elysium's shields like paper. Explosions rocked the ship, sending debris flying into the cold vacuum of space. Medical bays were reduced to rubble, and corridors filled with smoke and screams. The crew fought valiantly to save as many lives as they could, but the assault was relentless. Within minutes, the Elysium was a burning husk, drifting lifelessly in the void. News of the attack spread like wildfire. The human colonies were outraged. For centuries, humanity had tried to prove itself as a peaceful and compassionate species, even in the face of hostility. But this was too much. The attack on the Elysium was not just an act of war, it was a declaration that humanity's values meant nothing. On Earth, the leaders of the United Terran Alliance convened in an emergency session. The mood was grim, but there was no hesitation in their decision. The alien fleet had crossed a line, and humanity would respond with overwhelming force. Orders were sent to the far reaches of human space, calling every warship, every soldier, and every weapon to assemble. Earth's war fleet, long kept in reserve, was unleashed. The fleet was a sight to behold. Massive battleships, sleek destroyers, and agile fighters gathered in formation, their hulls gleaming under the light of Earth's sun. At the center of the fleet was the Titan, humanity's most powerful warship. Its captain, a seasoned veteran with a reputation for unwavering resolve, stood on the bridge, staring at the holographic display of the alien fleet's last known location. "This isn't just about revenge," the captain said, addressing the crew. "This is about sending a message. They attacked a hospital ship, a place of healing and hope. They thought we were weak. They thought we would do nothing. Today, we show them how wrong they were." The fleet jumped into hyperspace, leaving Earth behind. Their destination, the alien homeworld. The journey would take days, but the crew was ready. Every soldier, every pilot, every engineer knew what was at stake. This was not just a battle for survival, it was a battle for humanity's soul. As the fleet sped through the void, the captain couldn't help but think of the Elysium. The ship had been a symbol of everything humanity stood for: compassion, mercy, and the belief that even in the darkest times, there was still good in the universe. That symbol had been destroyed, but the ideals it represented lived on. And now, those ideals would be defended with fire and steel. The alien fleet had made a grave mistake. They had awakened a sleeping giant, and they would soon learn the price of their arrogance. Humanity was coming, and they would show no mercy. The hyperspace journey was long and tense. Inside the Titan, the flagship of Earth's war fleet, the crew moved with purpose. Every station was manned, every system checked and rechecked. The ship's engines hummed with power, a constant reminder of the mission ahead. The captain stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind their back, staring at the swirling blue tunnel of hyperspace. The crew knew better than to disturb their leader during moments like this. The weight of what was coming hung heavy in the air. Across the fleet, similar scenes played out. On destroyers, fighters, and support ships, soldiers and officers prepared for battle. Training simulations ran non-stop, weapons were calibrated, and strategies were discussed. The fleet was a well-oiled machine, but this was no ordinary mission. This was personal. The attack on the Elysium had shaken humanity to its core. For years, Earth had tried to avoid large-scale conflicts, focusing instead on diplomacy and aid. The hospital ship had been a symbol of that effort, a beacon of hope in a galaxy often torn apart by war. Its destruction was not just an attack on a ship, it was an attack on everything humanity believed in. As the fleet neared its destination, the captain called a meeting of the senior officers. The holographic display in the war room showed the alien homeworld, a massive planet surrounded by a network of orbital defenses. The alien species, known only as the aggressors, had built a formidable empire. Their technology was advanced, their military powerful. But they had underestimated humanity. "We strike hard and fast," the captain said, pointing to the display. "Their defenses are strong, but they're spread thin. We hit their command centers first, cripple their ability to coordinate, and then we take out their fleet. This isn't just about winning a battle. This is about sending a message." They attacked a hospital ship. They thought we wouldn't fight back. Today, we prove them wrong. The officers nodded, their faces grim but determined. They knew the risks. The aggressors were a ruthless enemy, and their homeworld was heavily fortified. But the crew of the Titan and the rest of the fleet were ready. They had trained for this moment, and they would not falter. As the meeting ended, the captain returned to the bridge. The countdown to the end of the hyperspace journey had begun. The crew braced themselves, knowing that the moment they emerged, the battle would begin. "All ships, prepare for reversion to normal space," the captain ordered. "Weapons hot, shields up. This is it." The fleet dropped out of hyperspace with a flash of light. Before them loomed the alien homeworld, its surface a mix of sprawling cities and barren wastelands. Orbiting the planet were dozens of warships, their dark hulls bristling with weapons. The aggressors had been expecting an attack, but they hadn't expected this. The human fleet moved with precision, their formations tight and their movements coordinated. The Titan led the charge, its massive railguns firing the first shots of the battle. The projectiles streaked through the void, slamming into the enemy's orbital defenses. Explosions lit up the darkness as the aggressors scrambled to respond. Fighter squadrons launched from the human carriers, their engines glowing as they streaked toward the enemy. The pilots weaved through a hail of laser fire, their skill and training giving them the edge. One by one, the aggressors' defenses fell, their ships torn apart by the relentless assault. But the enemy was not without their own tricks. A massive alien battleship, larger than anything humanity had ever seen, emerged from behind the planet. Its weapons glowed with energy, and with a single shot, it destroyed one of the human destroyers. The explosion was blinding, a stark reminder of the stakes. The captain of the Titan clenched their fists. "Focus fire on that battleship. Take it down, now." The human fleet redirected their fire, their weapons pounding the alien battleship's shields. The aggressors fought back with everything they had, but the human fleet was relentless. Slowly, the battleship's shields began to fail. As the battle raged, the captain couldn't help but think of the Elysium. The hospital ship had been defenseless, its crew unarmed and dedicated to saving lives. The aggressors had shown no mercy, and now humanity was returning the favor. The alien battleship's shields finally collapsed under the barrage. The Titan's railguns fired one last shot, piercing the battleship's hull and igniting its core. The explosion lit up the void, a fiery testament to humanity's resolve. The aggressors' fleet began to retreat, their ships scattering in disarray. But the human fleet was not done. The captain gave the order to pursue. "We don't stop until their fleet is destroyed and their homeworld knows the price of their actions," the captain said. "This is for the Elysium." The battle was far from over, but humanity had drawn first blood. The aggressors had awakened a sleeping giant, and now they would face the consequences. The human fleet pressed the attack, their ships cutting through the remnants of the aggressors' defenses like a blade through flesh. The alien homeworld loomed large in the distance, its surface now visible through the chaos of battle. Cities glowed with artificial light, and massive orbital platforms bristled with weapons. But the aggressors were on the back foot, their fleet in disarray and their command structure crumbling. The Titan led the charge, its railguns firing relentlessly. Each shot struck with pinpoint accuracy, tearing through enemy ships and orbital stations. The captain stood on the bridge, their eyes fixed on the holographic display. The battle was far from over, but the tide had turned in humanity's favor. "Focus on their command centers," the captain ordered. "Cripple their ability to coordinate, and this fight ends quickly." The fleet obeyed without hesitation. Fighters streaked through the void, their missiles striking key targets. Destroyers moved in formation, their energy weapons carving through the enemy's defenses. The aggressors fought back with desperation, but their efforts were disorganized and ineffective. On the surface of the alien homeworld, panic spread. The aggressors had never faced an enemy like this. For centuries, they had bullied weaker species, using their advanced technology and ruthless tactics to dominate. They had assumed humanity would be no different. But they had been wrong. In the heart of the alien capital, the aggressors' leaders gathered in a fortified bunker. Their once proud demeanor had been replaced by fear and confusion. The holographic display in their war room showed the human fleet advancing relentlessly, their ships unstoppable. "How is this possible?" one of the leaders demanded. "They were supposed to be weak. They were supposed to surrender." "They're not like the others," another replied, their voice trembling. "They fight for more than survival. They fight for honor." The word hung in the air, foreign and unsettling. The aggressors had never understood honor. To them, strength was everything, and mercy was a weakness. But now, they were learning the hard way that humanity's strength came from something deeper. Above the planet, the human fleet continued its assault. The Titan's railguns targeted a massive orbital platform, the last line of defense for the alien capital. The platform's shields held for a moment, but under the relentless barrage, they began to fail. "One more shot," the captain muttered, their voice calm but firm. "Fire." The railguns fired, and the platform exploded in a blinding flash of light. Debris rained down on the planet below, lighting up the atmosphere like a meteor shower. The alien capital was now exposed, its defenses shattered. The captain turned to their communications officer. "Open a channel to the planet. Let's see if they're ready to talk." The officer nodded, and a moment later, the holographic display showed the face of one of the aggressors' leaders. The alien's expression was a mix of fear and defiance, but their voice was steady. "You have attacked our homeworld," the alien said. "You will pay for this." The captain leaned forward, their eyes cold and unyielding. "You attacked a hospital ship. You killed unarmed doctors and nurses. You showed no mercy, and now you will receive none. Surrender, or we will destroy your cities one by one." The alien hesitated, their defiance wavering. For a moment, it seemed they might refuse, but then they nodded. We surrender." The words were bitter, but they were enough. The captain turned to their crew. "Stand down. But keep our weapons ready. If they try anything, we end this." The human fleet ceased fire, but their ships remained in position, a silent reminder of their power. On the planet below, the aggressors began to lay down their weapons. The battle was over, but the war was far from finished. As the crew of the Titan celebrated their victory, the captain remained on the bridge, staring at the alien homeworld. They thought of the Elysium, of the lives lost and the ideals betrayed. This victory was for them, but it was also a warning. Let this be a lesson, the captain said quietly. Attack the innocent, and humanity will respond with everything we have. We are not weak. We are not afraid. And we will not forget. The message was clear, not just to the aggressors, but to the entire galaxy. Humanity had shown its strength, and it would not be ignored. The alien homeworld was silent, its skies no longer lit by the flashes of battle. The human fleet hovered in orbit, a quiet but imposing presence. Below, the aggressors' cities lay in ruins, their once proud structures reduced to rubble. The cost of their arrogance had been steep, and now they faced the consequences. On the surface, human soldiers moved through the streets, their armor gleaming under the pale light of the alien sun. They were not conquerors but enforcers, there to ensure the terms of surrender were upheld. The aggressors watched from the shadows, their defiance replaced by fear. They had never imagined their empire could fall so quickly, and they had no idea what humanity would do next. Aboard the Titan, the captain reviewed the reports from the surface. The aggressors' leaders had been captured, their military disbanded. The planet was under human control, but the captain knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was watching, and humanity's actions here would set the tone for what was to come. We need to send a message, the captain said, addressing the senior officers in the war room. Not just to the aggressors, but to every species out there. We will not tolerate attacks on the innocent. We will not stand by while others are bullied. This is our chance to show the galaxy what humanity stands for. The officers nodded, their expressions serious. They had won the battle, but the real challenge was just beginning. How would humanity handle its newfound power? Would they become like the aggressors, using fear to control others? Or would they rise above, proving that strength could be tempered with compassion? The captain had no doubts. We will rebuild, they said. We will help the aggressors recover, but on our terms. They will learn the value of mercy, even if it takes time. On the surface, the rebuilding efforts began. Human engineers worked alongside the aggressors, repairing damaged infrastructure and restoring power to the cities. Medical teams set up clinics, treating the wounded and sick. It was a strange sight, the conquerors helping the conquered, but it sent a powerful message. The aggressors were confused at first. They had expected brutality, not kindness. But as the days passed, they began to understand. Humanity was not like them. They did not seek to dominate or destroy. They sought to teach, to guide, to show that there was another way. In the heart of the alien capital, a monument was erected. It was simple but powerful, a replica of the Elysium, its white hull gleaming in the sunlight. Beneath it were the words, "In memory of the innocent. May their sacrifice remind us of the cost of war." The aggressors' leaders, now prisoners, were brought to the monument. They stood in silence, their heads bowed. For the first time, they felt the weight of their actions. They had attacked a hospital ship, a place of healing and hope, and now they were faced with the consequences. The captain stood before them, their voice calm but firm. "You thought you could destroy us," they said. "You thought we were weak. But you were wrong. Humanity's strength comes from our values, from our belief in compassion and justice. You will learn from this, or you will fall." The leaders said nothing, but their silence spoke volumes. They had been humbled, their arrogance stripped away. Whether they would change remained to be seen, but the opportunity was there. As the days turned into weeks, the human fleet began to withdraw. Their work was not done, but they had made their point. The galaxy had seen what humanity was capable of, both in war and in peace. The message was clear: attack the innocent, and humanity would respond with overwhelming force. But seek peace, and humanity would offer a hand in friendship. Aboard the Titan, the captain stood on the bridge, staring at the alien homeworld one last time. They thought of the Elysium, of the lives lost and the ideals betrayed. This victory was for them, but it was also a new beginning. "We've shown them what we're made of," the captain said to their crew. "Now let's show them what we can become." The fleet jumped into hyperspace, leaving the alien homeworld behind. The journey back to Earth would be long, but the crew was ready. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger. And they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The human fleet returned to Earth as heroes. News of their victory over the aggressors had spread across the galaxy, and humanity's reputation had changed overnight. No longer seen as a passive and peaceful species, they were now recognized as a force to be reckoned with, a civilization that would not tolerate injustice or cruelty. The Titan led the fleet into Earth's orbit, its hull scarred but unbroken. The crew stood at attention as the ship docked at the Central Space Station. Cheers erupted from the crowds gathered to welcome them home. Flags waved, and banners proclaimed, "Victory for the Elysium," and "Humanity stands strong." The captain stepped off the ship, greeted by the leaders of the United Terran Alliance. The atmosphere was electric, a mix of celebration and solemn reflection. The victory had come at a cost, and no one had forgotten the lives lost aboard the Elysium. "You've done more than win a battle," one of the leaders said, clasping the captain's hand. "You've shown the galaxy what humanity stands for. Strength, yes, but also compassion. The aggressors will think twice before attacking anyone again." The captain nodded, their expression serious. "This is just the beginning. The galaxy is watching, and we need to show them that we're not just warriors. We're builders, healers, and protectors. The Elysium was a symbol of that, and we need to honor its legacy." The leaders agreed. Plans were already underway to build a new hospital ship, even larger and more advanced than the Elysium. It would be named the Elysium II, a testament to humanity's resilience and commitment to peace. Meanwhile, the aggressor's homeworld was undergoing a transformation. Under human supervision, the alien society was being rebuilt from the ground up. Schools were established to teach the values of compassion and cooperation. The aggressor's military was disbanded, replaced by a peacekeeping force trained and led by humans. It was a slow process, and not everyone was happy with the changes. Some aggressors resisted, clinging to their old ways. But many began to see the benefits of a society built on mutual respect rather than fear. On Earth, the captain was invited to speak at a global assembly. The event was broadcast across the planet and beyond, reaching every human colony and even some alien worlds. The captain stood before the crowd, their voice steady and strong. "We faced a choice," they said. "When the Elysium was attacked, we could have responded with anger and hatred. We could have become like the aggressors, using our power to dominate and destroy. But we chose a different path. We chose to fight for what we believe in, not just for ourselves, but for the entire galaxy." The crowd erupted in applause, but the captain raised a hand for silence. "This is not the end. It's a new beginning. We have shown that humanity is strong, but our true strength lies in our ability to forgive, to rebuild, and to inspire. Let this be a lesson to all: attack the innocent, and we will respond with force. But seek peace, and we will offer a hand in friendship." The speech resonated across the galaxy. Alien species that had once viewed humanity with suspicion now saw them in a new light. Diplomatic channels opened, and alliances were formed. The galaxy was still a dangerous place, but for the first time, there was hope. Back on the Titan, the crew prepared for their next mission. The ship had been repaired and refitted, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The captain stood on the bridge, staring out at the stars. "Where to next, Captain?" the first officer asked. The captain smiled. "Wherever we're needed. The galaxy is a big place, and there's still a lot of work to do." The Titan jumped into hyperspace, leaving Earth behind. The crew was ready, their spirits high. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger. And they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The victory over the aggressors had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Species that had once dismissed humanity as a minor player now viewed them with a mix of respect and caution. The story of the Elysium and humanity's fierce response had become legend, told and retold across star systems. But with this newfound reputation came new challenges. The Titan and its fleet were no longer just defenders of Earth, they had become symbols of justice and strength. Requests for aid began pouring in from distant worlds. Some sought protection from aggressive neighbors, while others asked for help rebuilding after years of conflict. Humanity's leaders faced a difficult question: how far should they extend their reach? Aboard the Titan, the captain reviewed the latest mission brief. A small, resource-rich planet on the edge of explored space was under threat from a mercenary group. The planet's inhabitants, a peaceful species known as the Lumine, had sent a desperate plea for help. "They're not asking for much," the first officer said. "Just enough support to defend themselves. But if we help them, others will expect the same." The captain nodded. "We can't be everywhere at once. But if we turn our backs on those in need, we're no better than the aggressors. We'll help the Lumine, but we'll also send a message: humanity stands with those who seek peace, but we expect them to stand on their own when they can." The fleet set course for the Lumine homeworld. When they arrived, they found the planet under siege. The mercenaries, a ruthless band of hired guns, had blockaded the planet, cutting off supplies and demanding tribute. The Lumine, a species of gentle scholars and artists, had no way to fight back. The Titan moved into position, its presence alone enough to make the mercenaries hesitate. The captain opened a channel to their leader, a grizzled alien with a reputation for brutality. "This planet is under our protection," the captain said. "Leave now, or face the consequences." The mercenary leader laughed. "You think we're scared of you? We've heard the stories, but we're not the aggressors. We don't play by your rules." The captain's voice was cold. "You're right. You're not the aggressors. And you'll find that we don't play by your rules either." The battle was short but intense. The mercenaries were skilled, but they were no match for the disciplined might of the human fleet. The Titan's railguns tore through their ships, while fighter squadrons picked off stragglers. Within hours, the blockade was broken, and the mercenaries were in retreat. The Lumine welcomed the humans with open arms. Their leaders, a council of elders, expressed their gratitude in a ceremony filled with music and light. "You have given us more than protection," one of the elders said. "You have given us hope. We will never forget what you have done for us." The captain nodded. "We're happy to help, but this is your world. You must learn to defend it. We'll leave advisors to train your people, but the future is in your hands." The Lumine agreed, and the rebuilding process began. Human engineers helped fortify the planet's defenses, while military advisors trained the Lumine in basic combat tactics. It was a delicate balance, teaching a peaceful species to defend itself without losing its identity. As the Titan prepared to leave, the captain received a message from Earth. The United Terran Alliance had decided to formalize humanity's role in the galaxy. A new organization, the Galactic Peacekeeping Corps, was being established. Its mission, to protect the innocent, mediate conflicts, and promote cooperation among species. The captain was offered command of the Corps, but they declined. "My place is here, on the Titan," they said. "There's still work to be done." The fleet set out once more, its mission clear. They were no longer just defenders of Earth, they were guardians of the galaxy. Every system they visited, every species they helped, added to humanity's growing legacy. But not everyone was pleased with humanity's rise. In the shadows, a new threat was forming. A coalition of species that had once thrived on chaos and conflict saw humanity as a threat to their way of life. They began to plot, their whispers spreading like a virus. The captain knew that the peace they had fought for was fragile. The galaxy was a vast and unpredictable place, and not everyone shared humanity's vision. But they also knew that they were not alone. The Lumine, the aggressors, and countless others had seen what humanity could do. And they would not forget. As the Titan jumped into hyperspace, the captain looked out at the stars. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but they were ready. Humanity had faced the darkness before, and they would do so again. The galaxy had changed. Humanity's actions had sparked a wave of hope and fear, rippling through every corner of known space. The Titan and its fleet had become symbols of justice, their name whispered in awe by allies and enemies alike. But with every victory came new challenges, and the shadows of the future loomed large. Aboard the Titan, the captain reviewed the latest intelligence reports. A coalition of rogue species, known only as the Syndicate, had begun to mobilize. They were a loose alliance of pirates, mercenaries, and warlords, united by their hatred of humanity's growing influence. Their goal was clear: to destabilize the Galactic Peacekeeping Corps and return the galaxy to chaos. "They're testing us," the first officer said. "They want to see how far we'll go to maintain order." The captain nodded. "Then we'll show them. We didn't come this far to let them undo everything we've built." The fleet set course for the Syndicate's last known location, a remote system on the edge of explored space. As they approached, the sensors picked up signs of activity: ships moving in formation, weapons being charged, and communications buzzing with coded messages. The Syndicate was ready for them. The battle began as soon as the human fleet dropped out of hyperspace. The Syndicate's ships were fast and heavily armed, their tactics unpredictable. They struck from all sides, their attacks coordinated but chaotic. The Titan's shields flared under the barrage, but the crew held firm. "Focus fire on their command ship," the captain ordered. "Take it down, and the rest will fall apart." The fleet obeyed, their weapons locking onto the Syndicate's flagship. The enemy ship was massive, its hull bristling with weapons and armor. But it was no match for the Titan's railguns. The first shot struck its shields, the second its hull, and the third its core. The explosion lit up the void, a fiery testament to humanity's resolve. With their command ship destroyed, the Syndicate's forces began to retreat. But the captain knew this was only a temporary victory. The Syndicate was not an empire like the aggressors, it was an idea, a belief that chaos was better than order. And ideas were much harder to defeat. As the fleet regrouped, the captain received a message from Earth. The Galactic Peacekeeping Corps had intercepted communications suggesting that the Syndicate was planning a larger attack. Their target, the Elysium II, humanity's new hospital ship, currently on its maiden voyage to provide aid to a war-torn system. The captain's jaw tightened. "They're trying to send a message. If they destroy the Elysium II, they'll prove that we're vulnerable. That our ideals can be shattered." The crew exchanged grim looks. They knew what was at stake. The Elysium II was more than a ship, it was a symbol of everything humanity stood for. If it fell, the galaxy would lose hope. "Set course for the Elysium II," the captain ordered. "We're not losing another hospital ship. Not on our watch." The fleet jumped into hyperspace, their destination clear. When they arrived, they found the Elysium II under attack. Syndicate ships swarmed around it, their weapons firing relentlessly. The hospital ship's shields were holding, but they wouldn't last much longer. The Titan moved into position, its railguns firing with deadly precision. The Syndicate's ships were fast, but they couldn't outrun the human fleet's firepower. One by one, they were destroyed, their hulls torn apart by the relentless barrage. As the last Syndicate ship retreated, the captain opened a channel to the Elysium II. The ship's captain, a seasoned medical officer, appeared on the screen. "Thank you," they said. "We wouldn't have made it without you." The captain nodded. "We're not just protecting a ship. We're protecting what it represents. The galaxy needs to see that we won't back down. The Elysium too continued its mission, its crew more determined than ever. The Syndicate had been defeated, but the captain knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was a vast and unpredictable place, and there would always be those who sought to destroy what humanity had built. As the Titan set course for its next mission, the captain stood on the bridge, staring out at the stars. They thought of the Elysium, of the lives lost and the ideals betrayed. They thought of the aggressors, the Lumine, and all the others who had been touched by humanity's actions. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but they were ready. Humanity had faced the darkness before, and they would do so again. For they were not just defenders of Earth. They were guardians of the galaxy. And they would not falter.